Here at the North Suburban Library System, for a number of years, we have worked with our staff to really enhance the effectiveness of their talents. We've done this in a variety of ways, and we are on a journey really to become a learning organization. And that means that we try to use everyone's talents to the maximum, and that we really try to get rid of hierarchy. We've taken on a number of initiatives, and I think our staff have improved personally, and certainly I can attest to their teamwork as a result of these efforts. Most recently, we became interested in the work of crucial conversations. In my rough definition of this, crucial conversations are those conversations that you would have with someone that really are emotional, but are really important. Oftentimes the joke is that we don't talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the middle of the table, but in crucial conversations you do. And so when we became interested in this, we asked one of our staff members if she would be willing to be trained in the art of facilitating this kind of training. It's rather expensive, it's a big investment and a big commitment on the part of someone to be willing to do this, but Debbie Baskey, one of our staff members here at North Suburban, said she was willing, and she's had the training, and by now she has trained all of our staff members and is starting to work on librarians around the state. So Debbie, this training, what has it done for you as a person?
Oh, geez, it has helped me immensely, both professionally and personally. On the professional level, I would say it really has helped my interaction with all the staff members here at the system, as well as our member libraries. It really makes you realize that there isn't an issue out there you can't address, there isn't a conversation that can't be had, and that helps both your professional and personal life. And I think it just gives you the motivation to take on these conversations that are difficult and know that you can face them.
And so this is a learned skill. I mean, you know, I'm a certain number of years old, and I've been practicing for many years avoiding these kind of conversations. And you can teach me how to be willing to have them?
Yes, absolutely. The skills that are taught by Crucial Conversations are not things that you haven't heard before, but they're skills that are laid out in a way that you can really practice and work with each other and work through the exercises, and that coming out on the other end, you really can learn these skills, and you really start to believe that you can do these things.
And you've seen a difference among staff members here at North Suburban?
Oh, absolutely. Both individual one-on-one conversations as well as teamwork. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that earlier. When people are comfortable enough to speak up during meetings where normally they are uncomfortable speaking their mind, I think it really helps and makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. So, for the benefit of our viewers and a little fun for us, why don't we demonstrate a crucial conversation? Only if I can be the heavy.
Okay.
All right, let's
we'll give it a go.
Right.
So, just to set this up,
right.
I am going to come into your office. You're my supervisor.
Okay.
And last week you gave me my performance review. And I'm going to come and talk to you about that now.
Okay. Well, hi, Debbie. You wanted to talk to me?
Yeah, it's sort of a sensitive issue. Last week we met, so you could give me my performance evaluation.
Annual, yes.
And you had said to me that raises were not being given out this year.
That's
and
true.
No staff would be receiving raises. Well, after I left here, I was in the kitchen with a couple of my colleagues, and two of them mentioned to me that they received raises this year.
They said that?
They did. And I was curious why that was and why you didn't mention that to me.
Well, I have no idea why people are making such statements like that.
Well, you know, it's possible that they're not telling the truth, but these are colleagues that I trust, and I know you do as well.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, Sarah, I would never call you a liar. I'm simply wanting to understand, because if I didn't do a good job, you told me in my performance review that my work was perfect and there were no problems with it. But if I'm not doing a good job for you, I want to know so I can do a better job next year. It's really important that I do a good job here, and I do the best I can. So that's why I'm asking.
So So are we talking about money?
You know, the money's not the issue. The issue is our relationship, working together and doing a good job here. And if I feel that you weren't telling me the truth about no one receiving raises, in the future it would be difficult for us to work together in a way that we can both trust each other.
Well, it is about money. I told you were doing a good job and that I was pleased.
Well, I am glad to hear that. I just, can you address the issue why two colleagues of mine said that they received raises?
You know, I have no idea why that happened.
That's an example of a crucial conversation where I attempted to use skills that were, I talked tentatively, I tried to ask you questions, I tried not to put blame, I stated facts where I mentioned a couple of colleagues received raises, and I tried to talk to you in a way that you wouldn't be offended. You probably still were in a way.
Well, I mean, I was cast as the role of a heavy.
Yes.
And so actually what you had done is you caught me in a lie. And so I didn't want to admit anything. And so I just kept kind of, obfuscating and sort of changing the subject and so on and so forth. But maybe we should replay it. What do you think?
We could do that.
Okay.
Okay. So,
hi, Debbie.
Hi, Sarah.
Talk to me?
I was wondering if we could talk about a sensitive issue.
Sure.
Last week I had my performance review, and you had said everything was great, I was doing a good job.
And you are.
Thank you. But you had said that no one was going to receive a raise this year, and I understood that. I was fine with that. But later on that day, two of my colleagues said to me that they had received raises at their performance reviews this year. And I was curious about that. It's not about the money, but I was wondering if that were true and if maybe some of the staff received raises. Could you address that issue?
Well, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you, but let me say what it might be. You've been here for a couple of years, and you're at the top of your pay grade.
Okay.
And other people may, I don't know, I'll have to get back to you, but other people may have been lower down, they may have been reclassified, and so they might have gotten a raise for those kinds of reasons and not because they were stars, because Debbie, you're one of our stars.
Oh, thank you.
And if anybody was going to get a raise for being a star, it would be you.
Oh, thank you.
But I understand the consternation that you must feel, and surely you were thinking that I was lying to you, and that must have been very hurtful to you.
Well, I'm glad you were able to clear it up. My main reason for bringing this up is that if there were things that I was doing you were unhappy with, I would want to know that so I can make the effort to correct those.
Well, and I am so impressed that you had the moxie to come in and talk to me, because I don't want you feeling like you're anything less than stellar.
Oh, well,
and so I'll
thank you.
try to figure this out, and I'll get back to you about it and try to clear up the miscommunication that's kind of going around. I think that our communication is the most important thing, and your trust, and I will do everything I can to preserve that.
Well, thank you, Sarah. So that was another way of doing it.
That's right.
So anyway.
So you can see that this is a technique that I mentioned before about, are there winners here? And a lot depends on if both people want to be winners.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can certainly have a crucial conversation and be doing your very best to follow all of the tips and hints, and still, if the person is unwilling,
there's not much you can do.
But at least you've done your best, and at least you had the guts, if you will, to bring up the difficult subject.
Right, and that's the important part to remember.
That's the important part, and that's sort of the validation, I think, of for the individual. I didn't just let this eat at me. I brought it up.
Right. No, absolutely, and I can say I feel much better inside after doing this training, and every time I teach it, I feel a lot better about it and more secure in the conversations I'm having. So it's been great.
Good. Well, thank you so much. Without you, your leadership, we wouldn't have been able to go down this road. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.